Hey there, everybody. Jeffrey Powers here, and welcome to another how-to over at howtorecordpodcasts.com. It is today we're going to show you how to actually use Libsyn to bring your podcasts over to the website that you have. Now, well, first of all, check it out. This is over. Everything's over at howtorecordpodcasts.com. Just got updated, new interface, new look. Really happy about how it's looking, and they made some changes to the theme too, so it's a little bit easier to navigate around. Like for instance, when you go here, you'll actually go to link as opposed to open a picture, which I really like. Latest episode, of course, how podcasting with hosts in multiple locations. I talk about Skype. I talk about Hangouts. I talk about other different options that you can use to actually bring people together for a podcast or a video podcast. So you can check that out over at howtorecordpodcasts.com, howtorecordpodcasts.com, and go from there. All right, so I have this podcast called The Day in Tech History, and it's over here at www.dayintechhistory.com. And I have all my audio comes out every single day, 365 days a year. We're going up to the 1500th episode, so can't wait for that to happen. And I want to host my file, and I had a host, but everybody was talking about, of course, using Libsyn as a host. But with Libsyn, what they do is they create what's called they create their own RSS feeds. And I didn't want to have them control my RSS feed. I wanted me to control my RSS feed. That's why I don't have FeedBurner or anything like that. I've got full control. It goes to iTunes that way. It's a straight shot from one place to the next. I'm very happy with it doing it like that. So when I switched over, I talked to Rob Rob Walsh over at Libsyn.com extensively on how to do this, because he says it could be done, and I wanted to make absolutely sure that we can do it. So what we did, I've actually done a 6-month run now on this through Libsyn.com from my old server. And Libsyn prices start at about $5 a month. I'm on a plan where I pay $20 a month for service for the show there. But basically, this is the front page to Libsyn, and of course, if you want to see the plans and pricings, you just click on there, and you find out. Like I said, I'm on a $20 plan, 400 megabytes. I can get to the smartphone apps, and everything but media transcoding, which is not a big deal for me, because I'm like I said, all I'm doing is I'm hosting the media through Libsyn. It does create its own RSS feed. In fact, I'm going to log in right now with my username and password, which of course you can't see, and I'm going to show you what they end up making here. Let's first of all, let's take a look at the dashboard here. Pretty straightforward. It says that I've been using 174 megabytes over 229 megabytes, and it kind of just sits there at that number as I continue to put in more shows. If I was to leave this go for the month, it would actually go down to nothing, and then when the new month started, I'd see it at nothing. But it usually stays here because I'm always adding new content. So, of course, here's all my stats for the day in tech history, and then of course I can get the settings. I can add posts. Here's the RSS feed that I can use: geekazine.libsyn.com/RSS. So we can go there, or we can just go to the home page, which is right here. This is what it looks like when I just use when I use Libsyn's web page RSS syndication. And a lot of people use it this way. They customize it. They make their own web page. So this could actually be dayintechhistory.com if I wanted to, but I have dayintechhistory.com. I don't want to change any of that, because even if I change hosting providers from Libsyn to somewhere else, then it doesn't change the main location, and that's the important thing for me. And the RSSs stay right where they are. So what I decided to do is I decided to set up my own. I decided to set up the media here so I could then bring it over to the day in tech history. Now, what I did was I'm going to show you how I do this through actually doing one of my posts in Libsyn. So I'm going to start here. This is the actual post we're going to use. It's for August 15th for the day in tech history. In 1877, Thomas Edison recorded the Mary Had a Little Lamb. It was the first recording that we know of out there. And of course, Thomas Edison did that. So I set up my page. And this is just a regular WordPress backend system here, CMS. So I've got it almost all set up to get published. All I have to do is put in my podcast episode. Of course, that's a PowerPress plugin. If you haven't checked out PowerPress for your podcasting plugins, you might want to check it out. They've got a lot of great functionality there. So I got that ready. I've got all my tags ready. I put in all the text here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to Libsyn, and I'm going to actually make the post so I can take the audio and bring it over. Now, I'm not going to show you how to make the audio upload, but basically you FTP it up into your Dropbox on Libsyn. And when it's in that Dropbox, it shows up into your FTP queue. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the posts area. And as you can see, I got a few posts here. And I'm going to say I want a new post. It's going to load the publisher, and it's going to give you the basic publisher here. So if I was just making stuff and it was just going through Libsyn the whole thing, then I'd be fine right there. But I want to do some advanced stuff, so I'm going to hit the advanced tab right up here. You'll see basic, advanced. It's a little switch, and of course this takes you to a new area. And in this new area, you can pull files from the hard drive, from the FTP, or from a URL. So I could technically have all my files on another host and then have them pull it from the URL to put it into Libsyn, so it'll go from there. But it'll still end up coming from Libsyn. So I've already uploaded a whole bunch of them, and here's the 15th, the one we're going to be doing here. So I'm just going to select that through the FTP queue and use that. And as you can see, it shows up right there in the list. I head over to description, and this is where I put in all my stuff. Now, this is what I normally do. I take the actual post, I just basically copy, paste, and then I don't put everything into this post because this isn't my primary post. So I want to give them a little idea as to what they see on Day in Tech History. And then, of course, the one important link that I want to keep here is this one right here, because it goes to the wiki page for August 15th. So I keep that in there. And then I add in a little bit of extra text. That's a text page right there. So we're going to copy this in through the HTML and bring that down. And then that adds in, I've got an ad here for the RSS page. And then, of course, some other ways to contact me, my Twitter, my Facebook, and, of course, more at dayintechhistory.com. Category, I leave it at general. When they imported the items to the Day in Tech History, they imported the categories too. So I don't normally deal with the categories. Just like with blogging, you have the categories. And for this one, we have Day in Tech History and we have Geek. But once again, since I'm not using that main RSS feed there, I'm not worrying about it. So, all right, so we have the post here. It's all ready to go. We're going to move over to destinations. Now, this is the important part. This is where the information you can then pull over to your post here. So, with the destination, I do have the iPhone and Android and Windows apps all going. So you can actually go to Podcast Box and download the Day in Tech History. You can actually go to the Android store on Amazon and download it. It's $1.99 for the app, and you can get it there. So I want to make sure that it does release for those apps. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a date of the 15th, and I'm going to do it at about 12:30 a.m. So about 30 minutes after the day starts, it's going to release it here. Now here's the kicker. This is what I need to pull this into here so I can finish up both posts. I uncheck this box right here. It's called Release to All Destinations at the same time. And then I move up the download availability to we're always available. That's the first one. Media file URLs are always available. Now, what that does is, as you can see, when I check this box right here, all these little areas actually got dates to them. So that means on the web page, I can actually change the time or the date. On the Wizard player, on the podcast box, Libsyn Classic Feed Android app, I can control, and the Windows app, of course, I can control when it gets pushed to those devices. So, but I want to have it released to all destinations at the same time, and I want to have media file URLs are always available, always available. I can also throw in an expiration date. In this case, it would probably be the 15th of 2014. And the time being 12:30, so it basically has a year there, and I can also check the box saying expire all destinations at the same time, or uncheck it. So, but this is basically where I don't normally touch the expiration date. I just release it and then I uncheck here and do the media file URLs are always available. Now you got to watch this because for some reason Libsyn likes to reset this this whole area. So you hit publish and then you go into the posts and all of a sudden you notice it didn't make the change. So we're just gonna test here by hitting publish, and it's gonna publish. And you know that it's published when you go back to the posts, and right here you don't see there's usually a little watch symbol right here, and that tells you that it's set to go. So the media files are not available. If you see that little watch icon, you need to go back in and edit and uncheck that box, and then say media files are always available. So now the media files are available for me over at Libsyn.com. So we go from here. We're all set here. We go over to the post now. Now from here, like I said, I already set up my my post here. Everything looks good. All I just have to do is add in the media URL, which is traffic.libsyn.com/Geekazine / and of course the date in my MP3 file. Now when I hit verify here, it should, sometimes it times out and sometimes it doesn't recognize it, but hit the verify a couple times and then it'll say, hey, we found it, and it verifies correctly. It should auto detect the time there as it did, and of course the file size as PowerPress normally does. So now my MP3 file from Libsyn is over here ready to be posted. Now, of course, this is also a time post. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in tomorrow the 15th at about 5:30 in the morning, which is when I post the Day in Tech History stuff. And then I hit Save Draft just to make sure everything saves properly. I like to do it that way. Yep, everything looks good. And now I can turn around and I can hit this schedule button right here. It'll then send to my social broadcasting, and then finally it will it'll set it up for scheduling for tomorrow at 5:30 Central Standard Time. I think Eastern Standard Time. I have the website set up for that, and then of course I have a plugin that'll actually schedule the posts to Twitter and Facebook. So it does that at 5:30 in the morning. And then, of course, when it's all said and done, you see the post, and you see it in the Day in Tech History right here. Let's take a look at the page. You'll see, for instance, on August 14th, Netflix went down for 3 days. And, of course, you can play the episode right here. You can download it. And as you can see down on the corner, well, you can't see that, but down on the corner, it actually shows the traffic.libsyn.com/Geekazine. Now, a couple more things to think about with Libsyn. You talk to Rob Walsh, rob@wizard.tv, and he will get you set up with whatever you need. Now, if you use the stats from PowerPress or Blueberry, you have to let them know that you're using the stat system from there, and let them know what your tracking URL is, and that's the URL you put in front of the media file, so he can put that into your audio, into your system, so it then tracks in your statistics area. So it's very easy to do. Rob will do that at rob@wizard.tv. And of course, any questions that you have, throw them their way. Of course, you can also throw questions my way. Geekazine@gmail.com. Think magazine, put in a geek, you got Geekazine. Twitter handle's right here, Geekazine. And of course, there's also the question, you can ask a question over at howtorecordpodcasts.com. I do a lot of stuff. I am even a podcast coach. So if you have any questions or if you want to get your podcast started and you need help on that, I offer a 30-minute free seminar or help out there. It's where I'm asking questions. What do you want to do for your podcast? How do you want to produce this? Do you want to get professional on it? Do you want to just use a USB microphone on it? And then we get you going. We get you started. Absolutely free 30-minute consultation and see if everything's here. But of course, if you go over to ask a question, you can then put in your name, your question, do the CAPTCHA, and then of course you can ask your question right there. And that's all over at howtorecordpodcasts.com. All right, hopefully this is a very useful article for you. If you have any questions, once again, Geekazine is the Twitter handle. Of course, we also have the Twitter Record a Podcast for How to Record Podcasts. You can also ask it there. But I'm primarily on Geekazine, and the fastest response is over at Geekazine, so check it out over there. All right, lots of other stuff over at howtorecordpodcasts.com. Podcast your passion. And of course, if you have any questions, there's lots of great articles, including increasing your Twitter followers, how to add backlinks to your show notes, how to create vocal pop filters, what type of microphones, USB microphones and XLR microphones to get, lots of microphone stuff, of course, creating different things. And then, of course, the Corporation for Public Podcasting, if you're putting together a podcast for your company. I give you some ideas to keep that afloat. All over at howtorecordpodcasts.com. Of course, you can also check me out at geekazine.com. And then, of course, The Day in Tech History, if you're interested in technology history. It's a podcast that runs 365 days a year. And you'll see a new episode every single day. We're almost at 1,500 episodes. Just celebrated the 4th year of this podcast. So lots of fun right there. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you next time on another how-to over at howtorecordpodcast.com. You can catch this video over at howtorecordpodcast.com or over at youtube.com/Geekazine. Take care.